If you're like me, you don't want to mingle around with WordPress forever. You just want to get it set up correctly so it will have the right features, it will be done quickly, and it will be secure. And in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 plugins that I use on all my websites. I will start by showing you the basic setup, the plugins you absolutely need when you start out your WordPress site. I'll also tell you about some plugins that tends to be very popular if you look them up online, but that I don't use, and I'll tell you why I don't think you need them either. I'll also tell you about some plugins that you might use down the road, some that are really nice to have. And in the end, I'll show you which plugins I use for my bigger websites. I have around 500,000 page views per month across a handful of websites. The first plugin I always install on my websites is Wordpress. So this is a security plugin, and it's only there to make sure that nobody else than yourself or your writers and the people who are supposed to get on your website will have access to your files on your website. It's very easy to use, it's quickly to install. A few years back I was using another plugin called iThemes, but I found it to be quite buggy over the last couple of years, and sometimes it would log me out of my websites like for days at a time. It was just really frustrating, and it forced me to call a programmer to even access my own site. And sometimes it would also break, or it would conflict with some of the things I had on my site. So today I'm only using Wordpress. It's a free plugin, and let me show you how it looks on your WordPress site. They have a team of people who will help you get everything up and running again if your site gets attacked. And that was actually how I found out about this website. And I've had no issues so far after I installed this plugin. Let me show you some of the things they'll do. So they have this firewall thing going where they will keep people out of your website, and then they will also do scans of your website to see if there's any malware or any files that shouldn't be there. So a really cool thing. You can go down here to tools, and you can see here how people are being kept away from your login page. So you can see who is trying to access your site right now. So that's pretty crazy to see that 8 people or bots or whatever are being blocked right now from accessing my login page. So you basically just install this plugin, you hit a big button, and it will do a lot of things for you. I'm not a security expert by any means. I just install this plugin and it does everything for me. So now that we have taken good care of the security part of things, let's look at how to get all the functionality and the good design that we want on our sites. I use a plugin called Elementor. This plugin is being used on millions of websites. It's a quite new company, and they sort of disrupted the whole page builder industry. I have no idea how they made this plugin because it seems like magic to me. It's like this Swiss Army knife, you know, where you can just keep pulling out new tools of this little knife, and it doesn't seem to slow down your site, as I will show you in a second. So it will do anything from designing your site, pop-ups, templates for landing pages, and buttons and forms. There's just a ton of things you can do with it, and every month they add new features. One of the latest features they added were pop-ups. You will need pop-ups eventually on your website. Even though they can be quite annoying, they are an important part of monetizing our websites. I'm not paid by Elementor to say this, and this is in no way sponsored by them. I'm just a super fan of what they do. So what I do on my websites is that I find a very light and super fast basic theme. They have their own theme called Hello, which I used for a while, but I found that I couldn't get the widget area to work with that theme. So I found another theme called Astra. I'll put a link in the description. That's the one that I'm currently using across many of my sites, and it's also the theme that I'm using in the examples you see from my sites on this channel. It's very light, it's extremely fast. With the Google PageSpeed Insight tool, you will get close to 100. I score 99 on the test before I start playing around with ads and so on, but I still get really good scores in the 80s or 90s with my sites. So you install the theme that you want to use, and then you install the Elementor plugin. You can also install the Elementor Pro plugin, which I do. It does cost a bit. I think it's $99 for 3 sites or something like that. But now you can mess around with your site in every way possible. Let me show you how I use it on my site. I just recently redid my front page here, and this little cool animation here where I sort of repeat some graphics from the logo and you see this tiny house and this RV here is driving out to the side. Something that's built in and you can just play with. Super, super easy to do.
And also notice how I segmented the front page here. Here I have one category about tiny houses and small space apartments, RV lifestyle. So this basically pulls in one category. And here's about boating lifestyle, furniture and interior design. This is actually the reason why I found Elementor. I had a hard time finding some tools that could help me segment my front page like this. I didn't want like just one feed of all my latest blog posts. I wanted to make it as easy as possible to let people find exactly what they were looking for, because somebody reading about RVs might not be so interested in tiny houses as in boating, So that's definitely something that I enjoy with this plugin. So see, if I click here, I can edit this page with Elementor right here. So it will open up in Elementor's own editor here. And on this left pane here, you have a lot of things you can do. And if I click anywhere here, you can see how it opens up all the possibilities. So this whole blue block here is one part of this front page. So it's basically pulling in posts from this one category here and showing some pagination here at the bottom. So what I can do here, I can choose some different styling if I want that. There's a lot of cool things here, and everything here can be changed and altered exactly like you want it. So you can choose how many columns you want, how many posts in total. So here, see, I have 2 lines of 3, so 6 in total. So it's 3 and 6. I want the image on the top. So it's built around this principle that what you see is what you get. And to my knowledge, so far, I've been using it for a couple of months now. What I see here is exactly what it's going to look like across all the different browsers, which is a huge thing because, typically when you do stuff like this, that's so easy to use, then it will never work across Firefox, or it will not work in Safari. People typically just test it for Chrome, but these guys seem to be doing a really good job of testing across platforms and mobile. And then I also wanted to show you one last really cool thing that I absolutely love about Elementor. They build pop-ups into the system, and that's something that I am really glad they did, because I've found that these pop-up plugins are really heavy, they are expensive, they will slow down your site, and it's just so nice to have this feature built into this one plugin. So if we say add new pop-up, there's just a ton of templates here, and that's a cool thing about Elementor too. Like everything from landing pages to blog layout to front pages, you can basically just click on a template and you will work from there. So you don't have to build everything or anything from scratch. So I just chose this one, I think it was, and then I started to mess around with it until it looked like I wanted it to. I'm not using pop-ups on this website right now, but if you go to the front page, you will see that across all the pages on the website, I have this bar up here, just telling people about this YouTube channel that you're looking at right now. So how do you make living on the road? Probably the number one question we get. Morten teaches that on his YouTube channel. So that's also a feature that's built in. It's basically built into the header part. And then I just place the logo and my menu here, and it will override the settings from your theme and just build another header. Let's finish off by seeing the speed results I get here. So this is for the front page, and see here I have a lot of things going on. I have this stuff up here, I have this animation going on, I have this block with 6 pictures, this big picture, I have 4 pictures there, and even though I have that installed and I also have AdFry running on the website, I get a score of 70 on mobile and 95 out of 100. Woohoo! I love that. That's extremely fast, and it's way above the threshold that I'm trying to hit. I just want to get my website to the upper orange area. I'm using AdFry to put display ads on this website, and I should say that I did work with their technical team in order to get these nice speed scores. They did some tricks and they did some stuff on my site, so it just became super fast. So after I found out about Elementor and got it installed on my websites, I've been able to get rid of a few plugins that I used to have on my sites. That's really nice because we want as few plugins as possible in order to get the best speed and the best security. Every plugin you add to a website is a possible vulnerability on your site because it might get hacked. So as I told you, I'm using the table of content feature in Elementor, and Elementor is also taking care of forms on my website, so I don't need to have a separate plugin for that either. So this is a big one. It does a ton of stuff without slowing down your site.
The next plugin I use in my basic WordPress setup is a plugin that enables me to put snippets of code where I need them to be on my website. Sometimes I need to verify that I'm the one who owns the site. That's for example when I'm setting up a Pinterest account, when I'm installing Google Analytics, when I work with a new affiliate network, when I'm doing split testing and stuff like that. Then you need to verify to the software that you are the one who owns the website. You do that by putting a little tiny snippet of code in what we call the meta area of the website. So if you don't have this plugin, you have to call your hosting provider, or you need to get a hold of a programmer in order to put these little pieces of code on your website. I like to do this myself, and with this little plugin, I can put these codes exactly where I want them to be. Let me show you how it looks on my website.
This is a plugin that I love because it's just extremely simple, as you can see here. You can choose if you want to place some code snippets on every page of your website or only on the homepage. If you need to verify that you are the owner of your website, you typically only need to put it on the homepage. You don't need to plaster it all over your website. And many times you can remove it as soon as you have been verified or authorized. So do that so you don't have a ton of extra code sitting on your website. Also because nobody will be able to see which tools you're using. So if you want to keep your competitors out of the loop, you can remove all these little tiny code bits as soon as you have been authorized. You can also move over to the next tab here if you want to insert some code for the posts only or inside post pages. It's nice to have this control and it's super easy.
So as you can see, this plugin is dead simple. There's not much to it, and that's exactly how I want my plugins to be. They shouldn't do a lot of things that I don't need. So you might be wondering why I didn't add any SEO plugins to this list. I don't use Yoast anymore, and there's a good reason for this. I've been using Yoast on all my websites for ages, and I used to set up a specific meta description and a specific meta title for all my articles. I don't do that anymore, and after I stopped doing that, I've seen no drop in traffic. So today Google is not showing you an error if you're not setting a meta title or meta description for your pages. It used to be that way when you logged into Google Webmaster Tool in the old days. Today this tool is called Search Console. You will not see an error in there if you're missing the meta titles and the meta descriptions. And I saw some test results recently where some SEO guys did some testing on if there was any correlation between having one headline of the article and having another meta title. And there was no correlation whatsoever, and that's also what I've found. So I don't do that anymore. I just let Google use the headline and they will do just fine with that. And for the meta description, I don't specify it and I don't tell Google exactly what they should put there. Google will find out exactly what they want to put there. So it will be different many times. So if somebody is finding my website, they will search something that's written deep within this article. Google will typically pull something from the article that's closely related to what they are searching for, and that will appear in the meta description. And I think that means a better click rate because Google will find something that's relevant to each user. And also when we're talking about Yoast, I don't like this little green, yellow and red dots that you can work with. It just seems to frustrate and confuse my writers because they will try to get it right. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's little dots, little indicators that will show how well your article is SEO optimized. And in my opinion, it's far off. Today, it's not about having the right number of keywords on your page. It's much more about having the best possible article that fits well with the intent of the user. So I don't want my writers to see these red dots as they're done. I don't want them to go back into the article and try to add a lot of keywords in order to satisfy a piece of software. Alright, so now let's talk about some of the plugins that I use that are nice to have. You don't need them, you can use them if you want to. The first one I use on most of my websites is called WP Manage. They can do many things, but I'm just using them for one basic feature, which is the backup feature. I sync this software to my WordPress site and to Dropbox, and that's easily done in a few steps. You'll find very easy tutorials on the website about this. So what it does is that on every Sunday night, my whole website is copied into my Dropbox folder. So now my hosting company has all the data and I have it in my Dropbox folder, and it's also stored separately with WP Manage. That's really cool, and I just love to know that I can always roll back a few iterations in my website and restore it from whatever disk image I want. WP Manage can also do a lot of other things. They can help you track a list of words that you want to know if you're ranking for, and they can do stuff like helping you update plugins and so on. Another plugin I typically install on my websites when I get to affiliate links is called PrettyLink. As soon as I start adding affiliate links to my website, I always do that with this plugin called PrettyLinks. It lets me have control of all my affiliate links in one place. So let's say I'm linking out to this camera or something like that, and I'm probably doing that across 10 different articles. So let's say there's a new camera on the market now. I don't want to go into all 10 articles to update these links. I just want to do it one place, and this is exactly what you do with the PrettyLink plugin. It will let you manage all your affiliate links in one place, so you don't have to manage them per article. Let me show you how that works.
So the idea here is that whenever you have an affiliate link, let's say that I wanted to advertise for this coffee table here, I place my affiliate link here, and then I choose here another URL that I want to use. And when people go to that link, they will end up at my affiliate link. It's very, very simple. You just use this link instead of this link. And now as you place this link across, let's say 50 different articles, everybody will go here. And if you want to update this link, you just do it this one place. Let's say I wanted to send people to another store or another type of coffee table. I just update this link here, and now everywhere I put this link here, people will be sent to the new link. So it's a very easy way to update your affiliate links without having to dig into every post and page on your website. That's the only thing I'm using it for. There's also a lot of stats you can do here. I do all my statistics inside Google Analytics, so I'm not using that.
There's two more plugins that I use on all my websites, and the next one is called Disable Comments, and you'll probably figure out what it does. It will just remove comments across the entire website. I used to have comments on all my websites, and I thought it was a cool way to engage with my readers. But today I have like 500,000 page views per month, and it's just so tedious and time consuming to go over all these comments. And as you can imagine, most of these comments are just spammers trying to get a little backlink to their website by placing a link there or placing a link in their name or something like that.
What is wrong with these people?
So I just found this to be a huge waste of time, so instead of going over all these comments, I just disable them altogether. And again, I've seen no effect on my website from doing this. There was no drop in rankings, no drop in traffic or anything. I don't think they matter that much. It's user-generated content, so everybody and anybody can write exactly what they want. So I'm pretty sure that in Google's eyes, this is the lowest form of content they have. And I think that's also why you can always outrank user-generated content in the search result page. If you find forums and Quora and places where people just discuss random things at the top of the search result page, go write that article on that topic because you'll definitely be able to beat it. The last plugin I want to tell you about that I have on my nice to have list is called Short Pixel. You've probably heard about this one as well. So it does one thing, and it does it really well. It will speed up your website by compressing the images across your site. But again, you don't need this plugin. You can just as well compress your images before you upload them to your website, but I think this takes too long time. So I just install this plugin, apply a little credit there on the account, and voila, it just takes care of all these issues for me. And it's cheap. I always buy a lot of credits for software like this on Black Friday. So last Black Friday, I was buying a ton of credit for Short Pixel. I think I was buying some VPN software, and I was buying stock photos. I used deposit photos, and I was buying email automation software. If you want to see the tools I use and all the deals I got on this Black Friday, you can check my tools page. But Short Pixel is awesome, and it saves me a lot of time. I used to compress all my images in Photoshop Elements, and I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to get rid of all these tasks that software can do for me. Let's talk about one misconception when we're talking about plugins on WordPress sites. Many people believe that the more plugins you have, the slower your website will be. And to some extent, this is correct. But it's perfectly possible to have 20 or 30 plugins on your site and have it running super fast and smooth. It doesn't have to be slow just because you have a lot of plugins, but one plugin can kill your site entirely when it comes to site speed. So what you need to do here is to test one plugin at a time. You can disable all the plugins except this one, or you can just add one to the equation at a time. And then you will do a new speed test on your website. I'm using the Google Page Speed Insight test. There's also other ones like Pingdom and other ones. I like the Google one because it's made by Google, and after all, Google is where we want our website to rank, and it's Google we want to impress. If Google is happy, then I'm happy too. So remember to test your page speed on a per plugin basis so you know exactly which ones are slowing you down and you know what sacrifices you have to make in order to use them. I promised you I would also share with you which plugins I use when my websites get bigger. One of my bigger websites is around 250,000 page views per month, but way before it reaches that level I will install premium ads on my website. When it crosses that 10,000 page views per month limit, I will always start adding esoic ads. Some of my websites are running esoic ads and some are running Ad5 ads. I like esoic more and more, and I'm not sure I'm going to change over to Ad5 on the next couple of websites. So the thing with Ad5 is that you need 100,000 page views to get in, at least for the first website. Sometimes you can get your second or third website in around 50,000 page views. But that's a lot of page views for many of us. And if you're just starting out, that might sound almost impossible. But when I cross the 10,000 page views per month, as I said, I installed esoic ads. So that's the first plugin I add that will definitely slow down my site. But esoic has fixed this. You can enable a speed tool they built into their system that will speed your website up, even though you have ads. And for my other websites that I'm using with Ad5, I've also worked with these guys, as I told you previously in the video. So it doesn't have to slow down your site. Another plugin I use on my bigger websites is the Classic Editor. And this is because when the website gets bigger, I set some dedicated writers to write on that website. And many times, some of these writers will prefer to use the classic WordPress editor over Gutenberg. I must say that I'm also finding myself more and more inside the classic editor because I'm just not a big fan of the Gutenberg editor. When I have the Elementor thing and I have the classic editor, I'm perfectly fine. But it'll probably slow down your site, and you can disable it when you're not actively working on articles if you want to have access to the classic editor. I'm working on a big course that will show you a lot more details about exactly how I build my websites. So go to my website and sign up for my email list if you want to get notified when that course comes out. There's a link to my website in the description where you'll find a little bar you can sign up for my newsletter. So remember to subscribe to my channel if you like this stuff. I have much more tips coming up for you, and also like the video if you found it helpful. See you next time.